Demand presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore! And I want to say this to the
YouTube
audience. I made my mistakes, but in all of my years of
grifting,
I have never profited from
racism.
I've earned every cent. And in all of my years of
racism,
I have never obstructed.
Spear chuckers.
And I think, too, that I can say that in my years of
racism,
that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not they're
grifter, racist.
Well, I'm not a
spear chucker.
Fella you're with, the black kid, dresses like a writer. Does he know anything?
You are racist.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of...
Down to Papa Road, please 182!
The power of one, the power of two, the power of...
He's gonna make a great stepdad for Jake.
And if you have a problem with that, come f me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken...
Why are you running?
Or any menstruating person in this country cannot make decisions over their own body.
Even limit their ability to get gender affirmation treatment in their state.
So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
And we will make America great again. God bless you. I love you.
Baby! Woo! Woo!
Indeed.
Woo! I forgot to put on my cowboy hat, but it's okay. A million fucking things just went wrong during that intro. I mean, literally, this arm, this one right here, just
Right.
literally came free of my table, of my desk, during all those little short clips, and I had to keep playing more and more and more fucking clips while I was trying to frantically
It's been a
reconnect
raucous
it.
morning, sir.
We're so professional here. You are watching Will of the Fans. My name is Will. See what I did there? And it is WTF Live, baby. That's right. I believe that. Woo.
We are a man down today.
And calm. Yes, we are a man down today, but we'll get to that in just a second. Yes, of course, our top stories. Well, there are only two. Once again, there's no point doing rush news because everybody is talking and thinking and vomiting about Dragon Age, the Veilguard, which is coming out in about 1 hour and 53 minutes by my time. And everyone is going to finally find out just how terrible it is. And well, from what we've seen, it looks pretty terrible. So we'll get into that. And also there is the other matter, the small matter of the sweet Bowser Inc., Shag Bowser Inc., sexting with Bowser Inc., or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Kim Belair situation, which Madame Savvy went into
autistic detail, as they say.
Self-professed autistic detail, exactly, over and revealed everything on side scrollers. So we are basically lacking a way to see that for ourselves. So we're going to EFAP the hell out of that and have a good old reaction to it. But first of all,
Right. I guess we should get ready to do a lot of push-ups today.
Yeah, we should. I'm gonna have to do a what was it called again? A barf.
It's
like barf. It's like barf. It's like bleh, but
I'll
it's
definitely be barfing. You know, like I'll try to
barf,
save it for after the show. But
I think I tweeted to one of them, to Corinne Bush and everybody, that they owe us about 50 barbs for all the fuck ups that they've done with this game. But before all that, of course, my name is Will. I'm the host. This is what I do. We don't have Ryan, but we do have Problematic White Guy, aka John. Say hello, sir.
Indeed. Hey, hello. I hope we're all having a fun-filled start to this raucous Halloween morning or
it's
evening.
Halloween.
It is. Like today seems like it'll be a fun, interesting day for like we're gonna do things a little bit differently, but it is a holiday, so that's not a bad thing to like kind of take a little bit more laid back approach. I think we'll have fun here.
Halloween's not actually a holiday in America, though, is it?
It quite honestly, it's almost one of the most celebrated holidays here in America, especially
but you don't have the day off work.
I mean, what fun would that be? Everybody just milling about town in crazy costumes. No, like it's better when it's
fun.
Out of context. I mean, it sounds
like Mardi Gras without the gay.
Right, but I think it's more interesting when it's out of context. I mean,
so
this for me is not so much out of context, though. Like, I think that I'm kind of actually, if anything, I'm more comfortable. I think we found my actual identity. I identify as a pirate.
Well, excuse me. I was just checking my microphone there. Well, I
no
will
worries. Yeah, make sure it doesn't slip.
As a cowboy later, but for now, I might as well just roll on with my Magaga hat, which stands for Make All Games About Gaming Again, and is something that drastically needs to happen because, of course, we are dealing with the game industry, the industry that it will become increasingly clear throughout this show is compromised beyond belief. And holy fuck, I seem to have a video that has just gone more viral than any video I've ever made before. It's about Dragon Age, so I know that makes sense. But watching my sub count at the moment is actually making me go a little crazy. So I'm going to stop looking at that. And instead, we're going to talk about Dragon Age. So the day has finally come. It's been, 3 months? We've been talking about it on this show, 2 months, 3 months, something like that. Ryan brought it to the table a while ago, long before I ever even had it on my radar. Ryan brought it. And, because Ryan, I like Dragon Age plenty. I've played them all, except 2. I didn't play 2. But Ryan has obviously become a huge fan over the years, a real diehard fan of the lore, the universe, the story, the characters, everything. And so he brought it to me when he was absolutely furious when they announced that they had changed the name. And as a result of that, we talked about it for a little while. I tried to hurry it along a bit because I was like, well, this isn't really relevant. It's not, it doesn't matter much. It's not going to matter. It's only a Dragon Age. Yeah. It's barely relevant. And yet, little by little, I also knew that it would become big, and the snowball has gathered mass and is now hurtling towards the villagers. The size of a fucking skyscraper. Exactly. Yeah, it is now a full-on avalanche, a deluge, if you will, of DEI. Yes. And it's so much worse worse than we actually thought it was going to be. And so here we are, and actually people are getting a little bit excited for it. I don't know if it's because it's also Halloween or if it's something to do with that, but it just seems to be.
It might be one of the spookiest games for the spooky season, just in terms of the season that we're going to go over today.
I mean, if you think that DEI is, immoral or wrong, then welcome to Halloween, because you're about to be terrified out of your mind. I mean, every single leak that came out like a week and a half ago when that Nure girl, I can't think of what her name is now, but she was on Hypno's channel. Yeah, friend who Hypno, obviously we're on SNH. I am anyway. Ryan is regularly, so we're all buddies. We'll get you on there one day. Yeah. And we've all been talking, and then I saw when he had her on his channel, and then we're talking about the leaks from an insider, a dev who worked at BioWare or didn't work for BioWare, but play tested the game, and he said they're going to talk about being non-binary really early. They're going to talk pronouns. They're going to do all this cringe ass shit. The gameplay is basically like God of War without the excitement. And that doesn't suit a party-based, or the difficulty, it's just basically going to be terrible. And, of course, as YouTubers who are trying to demonstrate a level of knowledge and ethics, journalistic integrity, I dare say, compared to the integrity of the actual journalists, which is null and void. We've had to basically step up and become this generation's journalists.
We are the media now, as they say.
We are. That's what Elon Musk tweeted. He had the the African pirate guy who's like, look at me, I'm the captain now. He had that, but he had look at me, look at me. Look at me, we're the media now. Yeah, it was hilarious. Look at me. Yeah, I'm not doing it. Chuck Spears in the chat if you agree. Indeed. Anyway, that's never going anywhere now.
No, it is not. It is burnt into like it is
the lore on Hypno's channel. It's the lore on this channel. It's like the Force. It binds us together.
Well, when Abubakar Salim himself becomes a spear chucker, I think right then and there.
That's fantastic. I have found a completely new level of respect for that guy. Yeah. I almost want to apologize to him, but I will not do it unless it's in person, because I want to judge his character for myself. But he's been watching Hypno playing Kenzera Zhao and making spear chucker jokes himself. So and I certainly feel some remorse. And in those terms, I will concede I may have misjudged the man. I even said I might Kenzera and play it myself.
Right. Not necessarily. Right. No, I saw that. I even liked your reply to it, because that's the thing. Like my big issue here is just these people that are like my civility, my moral, ethical kind of superiority sitting on their fence, just kind of like not doing anything for anyone. Yeah. But actually, like I said, I respect my enemies, because at least you know where they stand, and you can actually kind of work something out. It's kind of like one of my favorite endings to a video game, to talk about something good for a second, is the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, where it ends on a handshake. Because like that's how wars actually end. It isn't on battlefields. It's like people actually come into an understanding. You may not necessarily agree on every little thing, but you at least kind of like have understanding and respect. So
I agree. I would even say that it is kind of poetic, that what we've been championing with all of that controversy all this time is it should be okay to joke about anyone for anything.
Right.
It's not supposed to be, you know, the climate is way too politically charged. That's what woke has done. That's what Obama did, right?
Yep.
And now we are in a position where you can't joke about anybody and you can't make like physical comments about people or anything, and everyone's a snowflake, and it's pathetic and it's ridiculous.
Oh, dude,
and if somebody's willing to come out, jump in the chat and join in the fun, that is going back to exactly what we are advocating for.
Yeah.
Thus, it's poetic that all that shit show that started around SNH with Speargate and all that crap seems to have ended with the guy we were roasting getting in on the joke and joining in. And suddenly we're making jokes about each other and everything's okay again. And that proves that we were fucking right all along.
Indeed. And
We're
the only people
racist,
who
we're
looks
just
like
based.
and the only people who look like
Sorry,
fools are those ankle biting clout chasers that, you know, were sitting there on the fence, you know, with a nice you know, log up their ass basically, which you know, I'm sure that, you know, they're probably used to something like that. But yeah, no,
they take life and they take themselves way too seriously.
Indeed.
You have to be
Hold
able
the
to
stick
joke
out of your
about
ass
everything.
and chuck it like a spear.
Exactly. Sit on that thing and fire it out of that ass. You know, use those ass muscles that God gave you and fire that shit at somebody as fast as you fucking can. And who gives a shit? Anyway, so we do have to sort of finish the intros. Of course, I can see in the chat we've got the mods, we've got Iris Rhoda, we've got TJF Steve, of course, as always, representing for the Grift Force. We also have Bman here, hail to the 199. Dramatica Law is here as well, and that's fantastic. artooleetoo, Phantom Wars. Wow, we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
We're well over
NPC
50
person's
right
here
now.
too. Mad Old Crow. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. It's a big day. It's a big day.
Yeah,
James Up is here. Well, fantastic. And of course, shout out to Gamergate2.org, a fantastic website run by a fantastic person. And of course, let's not forget, as we speed on to the first topic, if you would like to join in and chime in the chat, even if it's just to roast the fuck out of us, then drop us a super chat or join the Grift Force. For more Will of the Fans emojis, including that beautiful, beautiful spear that you keep seeing spammed in the chat every time something funny happens.
Indeed.
And if you like the emojis and you want more, then kick in a couple of bucks and join today. Thank you. Shilling is over. So
I do want to point out one little thing. I had someone ask the other day. They're like, "So what's the 2024 version of Trick or Treat?" And I think it applies today. Trans or racist, and I'm going to choose racist.
I think I'd rather get done for racism than transphobia. The tranoids, they seem particularly crazy, like crazier than
might be all the meds.
People kind of dealing and we're going to be dealing with plenty of that today.
Most
Dragon Age then, and we've been seeing something happen already that should not be happening, but is nonetheless, and that is BioWare trying to remove people's footage. As we count down to the release of the game, people are leaking stuff, as they do. They get this stupid piece of footage that is utterly cringe and unbearable, and they pass it on to someone else. Let me share. There's at least a That Part Place article that I was using earlier on to make a video, and that video is currently exceeding literally every other video I've ever made, so that's a little crazy. But
they made a Barbara Streisand effect. They're retarded completely.
They exactly did that. They did. Although I think we're supposed to call it the Alyssa Mercante effect now.
Oh yes, a slunta mercante.
Slunt Alyssa Mercante. Yes, known slunt Alyssa Mercante.
Yes. I mean, that's her next big gig. Like did you see the pictures that she was posting all about like her e-thought Twitch bullshit that she's like, I mean, she knows the wall, and which I jokingly said
she knows what she is.
She knows what she is. She knows the end of Kotaku is right around the corner, but someone needs to let her know that she needs a good skin regimen because that wall is like right here, you know? And
yeah, man. Yeah. Grim. So anyway, the Alyssa Mercante effect is in full effect in the case of Dragon Age. The Veilguard, as BioWare allegedly scrambles to remove gameplay footage of Dragon Age. Veilguard Virtue Cringe. Now, we've seen a bit of this, of course. We've seen fair amount of footage, but what really blew it up was this little clip this little scene that we can, I think I can, yeah, I can play it straight out here. You could hear that, right?
Yeah.
All right. No need to go to X then. Well, it would be nice to get my own tweet up. Let's do that instead. Hold on. Like I said, we're going to wing it today. We've got 2 things to talk about. They're both insane. We don't have Rush news, so we're just going to have a good old chinwag.
That's right. We're going to do it live.
Act like it's actually a holiday, which it's not. And then at midnight, my time, because it's currently 10:20 at night here. So at midnight, you can all bugger off over to Hypno and watch Griftcast because he'll be streaming the game, and I'll be doing that too. So I see you in the chat.
I hope he's dressed like a Zulu warrior with a spear.
His avatar is dressed.
I know. I've seen
appropriately.
It's so great.
He has a couple of extra scars he didn't have before. So much respect to that. Yeah. So basically, well, you know what? Let's watch the clip first. That would be the best way to conduct things. Here we go then. Can you hear everything?
Pounding that snake's nose. She's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties. I was so proud.
Maker's panties.
Yeah.
Maker's panties.
Yeah. Like this thing is so modern day in its exposition.
Maker's panties.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, this is Isabella, who was in a previous Dragon Age game. I forget which one. I think it was 2. And it's, her again. And she's a much loved character who looks much more derpy than she used to look.
Yeah.
And, well, she's obviously referring to this butch lesbian here, who is our non-binary they them of the crowd, aka Tash, which is funny because her mustache is the only thing she doesn't have.
Right. I think that's the love child of Bowser and Kim Koopa.
It's Bowser and Kim's Bel Air kids. Yeah. You're right. That's actually very good. Well said. Anyway, Isabella here is talking in a British accent, which, I don't know, fantasy tropes. You hear a British accent, you expect to hear phrases like "Go forth, young master," and
or at least "cunt,"
or "cunt." Yes. What you don't expect to hear, fuck's sake, man, you got to do it every stream. What you don't expect to hear is the word panties, because that, as far as I'm aware, is 20th and 21st century lingo.
It totally is. Pantaloons would have been more acceptable,
right? Undergarments, such and such. So Maker's panties. I just don't know if I would have heard that in a previous Dragon Age game, but I haven't played one in a while, so can't be sure. We'll carry on. We'll play again. We'll carry on.
Would panties even exist? I mean, evidently.
No, most likely they'd be wearing like female long johns or something.
Yeah,
they'd be made out of like pigskin.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, we've jokingly said that they evidently have a transing center where they're able to do all this stuff. So
yeah, somebody's doing it. Somebody's providing that service. I don't know if he's using a fucking meat cleaver or something, but oh well. I mean, they certainly don't seem to have advanced medical care.
No, I mean, like it's so out of context. Like that's the thing about this game is that they're doing themselves such disservice. Is there's no way to take this seriously. Like this is more outlandish than like a scene from Monty Python. And at the end when the police show up, and it's just kind of like like it's very, very much like they're making fun of the whole movie that they had just been a part of. That has more context and bearing than this shit does.
Yeah. All right, let's crack on.
Pounding that snake's nose. She's still holding the
Pounding that snake's nose. I just wanted to point it out. I don't have anything to say about it, but there's something there.
ruby in her other hand.
Yeah.
Maker's
Kim Bel Air
panties.
could work it out for you.
Proud.
Oh,
Shit. They're still holding it.
Okay. Now we have actual use of 21st century Western spoiled brat entitled millennial Gen Z Zoomer pronouns. In Dragon Age.
Why are you guys freaking out? It's not like it's just pronouns, guys. It's just pronouns. I mean, it's not
if it doesn't matter, then why do you have to do it?
Right? It's not going to affect the game. It's not like we force you into anything. It's not like we're trying to indoctrinate you. And then
the same answer applies in either direction. If it doesn't matter, why did you change something?
Right. Right.
There it is.
This is cry bullies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cry bullies, of course, yeah. So now, but I mean, like, okay, right. Let me put it this way. I heard everything that the playtester had to say to Ara or Nure, and I thought, okay, that sounds really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to be as bad as actually using the words non-binary or something like that. You know, I thought it would be more like, well, I don't really feel much like a boy or a girl, so you can just call me whatever. You know, make it a little bit more fantasy, just 10% more diegetically sound than just out and out using the terminology that these freaks use, right?
Right.
And
but they wouldn't feel represented or seen if it didn't actually use that. But
unless they literally crowbar in 21st century shit. Right. Exactly.
Instead, though,
yeah.
They're making it non-bi worthy.
Yeah. Actually, someone said earlier on or yesterday in one of my comments on a video, it was instead of BioWare, it's buyer beware.
Right.
And I thought that was, I love a bit of wordplay, mate. I love a bit of wordplay.
Right.
Much respect to whoever that was. It was someone I didn't recognize, like a newcomer to the channel. There've been a lot of them over this Dragon Age thing, so hope they come back. He comes back. It was a dude's name. And give me more fuel for the fire, please. Yeah. I'm happy to take that. It's like I took prostitutes from Simdal as well. I love that term and I use it all the time. Anyway, so we have makers panties and now we have pronouns. So as to finish my story, I thought we were going to get, you know, cringy fantasy universe version of I'm not a boy or a girl, which would piss me off enough because that of course doesn't exist. But but no, instead we actually get the term non-binary, as we saw days later in the first scenes that we saw. But now not only do we have the term non-binary being used freely in the game, we also have the insistence on they them pronouns.
Yep.
Something our own much more advanced world has not encountered until the 21st century. And yet this fantasy world, which is far less advanced, I put that deliberately in quotation marks, does.
Yeah.
And well, fuck that, frankly. it just sucks you out, doesn't it? As artooleetoo says, gag me with a spoon. There you go. See?
Yep.
We got lots of gays, cringes, and blah blahs and bollockses in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to, you know, have a suspension of disbelief because they're just sitting here, like, you know, just pounding it over and over again, like, you know, like Kim Bel-Air would to, like, you know,
Bowser.
To
an antelope shaped
nose, or indeed, yes.
Snake's nose, yeah. Anyway, let's crack on with this because we're only beginning.
They're still holding it. Sorry.
They. The way she says that, she's like, oh, not only am I wrong, but and also have to now begrudgingly contradict, interrupt, and correct myself. But I have to say it over and over again in the most assertive tone I possibly can.
They're still holding it. Sorry.
Right.
What I mean?
What are you doing?
Pulling a barb.
Guys, this is the meme of Dragon Age so far. If you don't know what a barb is, she's about to tell you in nauseatingly, excruciatingly time-wasting detail.
Indeed.
Oh.
And she can't even actually do an appropriate push-up.
Tradition in the Lords of Fortune from one of our old men.
No, her back's not straight.
Yeah,
she's doing a girl push-up.
Yeah, like it's totally like, I mean, like if anything, she's just kind of getting in a downward position that would be, you know, akin to a Slunta Mercante or, you know, Kim Bel-Air.
Yeah, a Slunta Mercante, yeah. And her arms are definitely not big enough to be able to do 10 push-ups without wheezing afterwards.
Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went silent.
She's calmly talking as she does push-ups with those sticks.
Dude, like her arms aren't out. Like this is this is somebody who's never done push-ups.
She's not like got like this going on or wide or anything. She's never done a push-up. This is whoever animated this has never done a push-up.
No.
And she's never heard of the fact that no matter how fit you are, push-ups will make you breathe heavier. So she hasn't altered the dialogue or anything either.
Right.
She's just doing tons of push-ups while having a perfectly normal conversation. Like she's 10 times stronger than she has any right to be. Women are just built more sleek, apparently. Sleek, yes. Sleek doesn't equal strength.
Sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crews, not good for morale.
Oh, there it is. A little bit of a wheeze.
Time for big, drawn-out apologies.
Oh, there it is.
When one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we don't.
Okay, I take it back. There was a little bit of. I partially take it back. There was a little bit of. Well, that was a little bit tough, in that speech. No, there's no way that woman has the upper body strength to do 10 push-ups without gasping for air at some point.
10 to put it right. Pulling above.
I mean, most of her strength is in her legs, obviously, in her, hip region. And those push-ups had nothing to do with her legs.
Oh, Tash isn't the first non-binary member of the.
And there it is.
There it is, indeed.
There it is. Non-binary in all its fucking glory.
All right.
Gal Pal Val, hello. Shout out. I haven't seen you here before, but welcome. Seen you plenty of times in Hypno's chat. Most welcome.
Indeed.
Only counted 4 or 5 on the outside off screen. Did she actually only do?
I don't think she even do 10. Yeah, no, I've been thinking about that whenever I've seen this clip.
Okay,
it's
one.
Okay. A Barv. Tradition in the Laws of Fortune from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crews, not good for morale, but there's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies.
5.
So when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right. Pulling a bar.
You didn't even do it. You only pulled half a bar. You dumbass bitch.
Yeah.
Gal Pal Val, you're fucking right. You're absolutely right. It's only 5. Okay, I take everything back now. She was wheezing after only 3, so fair enough. Yeah, okay. Women are built different. Fair enough, yeah.
Right.
If I was built like that, I could move 300-pound patients with one arm. Okay, fine. Maybe I just don't understand women that well. My wife looks fairly like that, and she can't do a push-up. So, but that's fair enough. Anyway, Gal Pal Val absolutely vindicated. That was 5. That was a half barv.
Yep.
She's not really sorry. That's a half-assed apology. T-Jap, you're right.
Yeah. She didn't mean it. She's gonna sit here and like virtue signal everybody. She's a fence sitter. She's gonna sit here and just try to get everybody to do the work that she's not even willing to do. Virtue signaling ass hat.
That's it. She might as well be on Twitter with the amount of effort she's putting in.
That's right. Change her name to, Mercante.
So there you go. And next thing we have, of course, is her being non-binary, allegedly.
I'm glad the Lords of Fortune have Tash's back.
Oh, Tash isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords. Really?
All right, we really have to talk about that because that is it, really. Like the diegesis, which is the technical terminology in media for secondary universe, is smashed to pieces by the fact that they put the word non-binary in there.
Yeah.
And that's right. Absolutely right. Gently caress that like button. Thank you, chat. Thank you. Yes. Hit the like button.
Lick the thumb button.
Lick it.
Yeah.
Caress it. Smash it. Smash it like it owes you money. Whatever it takes.
Flick it.
Just make sure that more people find this stream because we're having some fun here as we celebrate the impending release of this piece of shit. So there you go. Anyway, that'll do. Let's crack on.
Your time, but Horlicks was one of ours. Huh. Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And out of them too.
Of course. Okay. So this is Dragon Age. People shag. It's a BioWare game. Fine. I guess that is in character for her. It's just that after the onslaught of all the other rubbish, it hits me as bad faith. Hits me as bad taste.
So she's a rug muncher too, then, evidently.
Well, clearly, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't actually know because this person, Horlicks, could be a dude.
Well, she's talking about like them, like, you know, like as though, because she's talking about this other person who's transgender, but is transgendered to a man. So when she's saying this stuff, she's talking about like, you know, gay plus extra steps. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all nonsense. Let's carry on.
Any reason you can't just apologize?
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me.
You did. You wanted to get the whole thing over with, so you only did half the fucking push-ups.
She only did, yeah, exactly. She only did half. So her whole point is that doing the push-ups is a quick way of apologizing. How about you say, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I forgot. I'm used to using regular pronouns.
You haven't.
If you are the kind of person, you know what I mean? Like if you turn around and you say like, oh, rat, you know what? I'm really sorry about that. You know how it is. And you just sort of get on with it. You know, if they actually like you as a person, they'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And don't get me wrong, none of this should be happening at all.
No.
But if we were to entertain for a second that this was something that is recent and that everyone has accepted, which nobody has, except freaks. But if you actually did accept this, you would just give a quick, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm still getting used to it, or something, you know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Abubakar Salim is more forgiving than these transoid.
I mean, she just dropped to the ground and allegedly gave 10 push-ups, but actually only did 5 in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that she could shortcut around the apology.
Right. She wanted to get to the virtue signaling and, like, you know, the lecture. And so maybe if you do the lecture, you get maybe if you do the lecture, then you get to do half a bar, but you have to do like the full-blown lecture.
Absolutely.
But pulling a barf, you sweat a little. Makes you think about it a little more. Shows the other person you mean it.
So we're on basically punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to physically bullshit. This is self-flagellation.
Mm-hmm.
For getting it wrong. You have to punish yourself with physical torture. Well, I mean, yeah, okay, it's just a gentle workout, but it's physical endeavor to make up for. It's a struggle session.
And you mean it.
What if they mean it when they say they're sorry, though?
And that's the other reason. Some people mess.
Notice the Asian elf.
Mm-hmm. Lollipop head. Looks like Roger from American Dad.
The where are they? Kind of does, yeah.
They mean it when they say they're sorry, though.
And that's the other reason. Some people mess up and get all dramatic. They make it about them. Oh, you know, I didn't mean
they them
right.
or just
hang on a minute. She's just okay. This is fucked. This logic is as fucked as anything about TQ plus is. She says that by dropping to the ground and doing 10 push-ups, you don't make it all about you.
Right.
Because saying sorry is making it all about you.
Right.
No,
well,
you stupid cunt. Saying sorry has historically, saying sorry is acquiescing to someone else and making it about them.
Well,
that's why the word was fucking invented.
Right. Well, you have to remember that these people have no forgiveness themselves, so they have no bearing to understand it.
Right. Yeah. And yes, fair enough. Bishop's opening. Yes. Where has this progressed the story at all? I don't know, unless this is the story. But so not only has she now just dropped to the ground and done 5. Gal Pal Val vindicated, of course, forever now. Push-ups by way of apology for getting a pronoun wrong, right? That's point
debatable.
One. I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. She's then justified the existence of, yes, you're right. I see you in the chat, Gal Pal Val. It was only 5. She's now justified the existence of this as being named after somebody that she met, whose name is very similar to the word barf, which makes me which is what this makes me want to do. And she's then extolled the virtues of this practice as being simpler, more efficient than a simple apology, and also claimed that apologies, which only exist in our English language and any language for that matter, to extend to someone your apologies for getting something wrong, right? And thus acquiescing your will to theirs, thus making it about them for a moment. Right. She says that saying sorry makes it all about you, right? Which is bollocks, of course. It's complete
power
bollocks.
Dominance, though.
But even worse, the fact is, look at this fucking scene that we've been watching for 1 minute and 42 seconds. This whole practice of doing these push-ups, right, and then having to explain why, has made it all about her.
Yeah. I mean, this is a power dynamic thing. This is like, like
she's totally taking control of the room.
Yeah.
If she turned around and said, "Oh, sorry, love," that would have been it. But no, we've had nearly 2 minutes.
Yeah. Let me just be a fucking wanker here and totally derail the conversation and do this whole thing where it's like,
you're robot, buddy. Can you start that again?
Bad person.
You're still roboting.
I'm gonna sit here and get my half barb. Yeah, I'm gonna have. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna do my half barb and virtue signal and lecture to everybody because it's not about me. It's about you. This is such utter tripe and gaslighting. This is sad. Yeah, sad and pathetic.
It's fucked up, isn't it? It's really ridiculous that.
It reinforces meanness.
We're actually dealing with this, and we're having to sit and watch this. Not only does this make it all about her in the game, but it's a meme that has spread and gone viral.
Indeed,
and been shared by people like Grums and everybody.
Yeah, they cannot lock this one down no matter how much they try. The internet is forever.
The internet is now all about this.
Yep.
So her entire logical train of thought that doing 10 push-ups is less than the kneeling, crying, wailing apology that you would have to give for getting someone's pronouns wrong in the universe of the person who created and wrote this.
Right.
It's
never good enough. How dare you? You can't make a mistake. Don't you understand?
It's so bad to get someone's pronouns wrong that it's quicker to drop down and do 5 push-ups, pretend that you did 10,
right,
and then smile and go on with it, than just to turn around and say sorry, because sorry would be making it all about you rather than putting on this ridiculous physical display and then having to explain it to everyone.
Right.
Thus completely stalling the conversation so everyone's looking at you.
Right. Right. I mean, it does the exact opposite of what it's supposed to be, meant to do. Like, I want to show you honor and respect by now taking 20 to 30 seconds of my time to do 5 to 10 push-ups. I guess maybe it's kind of like, I posted this meme onto the FFS Discord the other day about it was called the march or the marathon for equality, and guys had to do a 10K and women had to do a 5K, but it's for equality.
There you go. Yeah. Tell you what, hold the fort for me for 1 minute.
Yeah, not a worry.
For a second. Cheers.
Yeah. I'll take a look here through the old chatter and see if there's anything good to speak on. Oh yeah, I am the robot pirate, very much so. Wow, if this is the writing, I thought Concord was a flop, but we haven't seen anything yet. Won't somebody think of the children? This crap is giving people terrible messages. Can you skip? Do choices matter for the story ahead? The cringe with this one is strong. If this is in-game, is this in-game? Thought about playing tonight, but now I'm conflicted. Yeah, this is very much in-game.
Madness. Yeah, this is a scene. This is a scene from the game. It went viral earlier on. It was shared by Grums, and I tweeted about it as well. And let's just see how it wraps up, I suppose. But do you see what I mean here about how the entire logical process is wrong?
Yep,
everything about this is wrong.
Remember a year ago?
I think
just
pronouns. Just said a minute ago. It was Cass. Yeah, hello, Cass, by the way. I see you in other chats that I'm in as well. It says, well, this is a perfect encapsulation of the modern audience. Yeah, It is, because everything about it is wrong.
Yeah.
Just
Everything
like
about it is wrong
everything.
and assumptive and just kind of like, like from this very myopic ideological bent of, a perception. Like I have an eye patch on and I can see more clearly than what these fuckers are putting
There
on
it
the
is.
screen.
No, I mean, look, the ideology that supports this is wrong. It's unnatural, backwards, completely insane, wrong about everything, and illogical. It's
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown.
it is. That's what it is. Let's finish the scene.
I am glad that I'm
And
wearing the
that's
eye
the other
patch
reason.
though, because I only have
Some
to see
people
half the
mess
shit
up
that
and
everybody
get all
else does.
dramatic. They make it about them.
You're making this about you, you
Yeah.
stupid harpy.
Oh, I didn't mean it right. I'd never do that on purpose. They feel so bad about it.
You assume that someone would actually say sorry.
Right.
I wouldn't
I
say
just,
sorry.
Yeah.
I have a friend
get
who
over your
went
shit.
trans, and I kept referring to him as a he, and this was 10, 12 years ago. And so, the foundations were not in place yet.
Right.
And he just sort of rolled his eyes and went, yeah, well, you'll get used to it.
Right.
Because I turned around and went, oh, sorry, man.
Right.
I almost
right.
said his name then.
Yeah.
Almost
Settle
said his
down,
dead
dude.
name.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it was just like, you'll get used to it. But then he started flirting with me, which made me very uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Gay with extra
Anyway.
steps.
That it's on everyone else to smooth it over and make them feel better.
Oh.
Smooth it over like your
okay,
chest.
yeah.
Oh, wow. That was some terrible voice acting. Did you get that? The
Mm-hmm.
way that Asian elf just went, oh.
Yeah.
Is that, who is that?
Oh, okay. Yes, some people might do that.
Pulling a barb puts it on the person who screwed up. They made the mess. They fixed it.
She's Asian
done.
by way of California.
Is this the playable character of the? Is
I-
that the one that looked like they were like made, bespoke for the?
I thought Kim Cooper rather was.
Oh, you mean this one, Kim
Yeah.
Cooper? Yeah. No. This is Tosh. This is the
Okay.
non-binary.
Oh, right. That's right. You're right. That would mean that one would have to be, because I know the Lollipop Head is another one of the guys.
This is the only one whose face looks like it was made by a player rather than someone. At
Right,
least,
and-
at least
and
a
they're not
competent
saying
designer
anything.
put these characters together, and they're not speaking. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're there to just absorb and learn.
There you go. That actually is the end of this clip. So there you go. I watched and I said, after watching this, BioWare and Corinne Bush owe gamers as many push-ups as required for their arms to fall off. They're in self-mutilation anyway, so they won't mind.
Right.
And I don't do this very often, but I'm going to give myself Yes. There's nothing good about this game at all, is there? It looks like a PS3 game, maybe PS4.
I mean, I suppose the good thing is it eventually ends, or for me, like it never begins, because I'm never going to pay for this thing. I mean, like I feel bad for Hypnotic in an hour's time and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but he's getting paid to do the thing, at least, I guess. So
yeah, we'll have to move on though, but we will come back to Dragon Age before the end, just to bid the waiting period a fond farewell. But before that, TJAP Steve has gifted 10 Will of the Fans membership. You legend. Oh yeah. Oh yes. You lucky people. Thank you very much, TJAP Steve. Appreciate you, bro. And of course, it's always good to join the Griff Force. You get access.
They're so right.
Beautiful...
Talking about
What's
in
that?
the chat, said the female characters are man spreading, and the one that's clearly supposed to be a dude has got like his legs all cinched together.
Yeah. Although that could be, no, I suppose if you were playing as a male, they'd have different body positions that they get
You'd like
into.
to think, but everything's
there you go.
reversed. Everything's reversed.
And there you go. So there we go. That is the beginning of the end of Dragon Age. We can look forward to more of that in around an hour and 10. I would almost buy the game and stream it myself, but I just don't think I've got time. And really don't want to play it.
I don't have time or patience is my thing. You know,
Yeah.
like I could probably come up with the time somehow, but the patience, that's never going to be there.
No, that's the thing.
Not for that. Not for that
That's the
shit.
thing.
I wouldn't even
That's the
pirate
thing.
that game. I wouldn't even pirate this game. Arr!
Ah, yeah, there he is. Of course. Well done, well played. So, yeah, we are pretty much at the mercy of having to talk about the side scrollers thing then, because what began with Watchman's insane quest to shag a giant spiny turtle has turned into something quite a bit more desperate. Sinister. I like that better. Well done. Yeah, it turns out that if you go down the rabbit hole of, you know, the sexiest podcast, you can actually find your way to almost everybody in the game industry.
Yep.
Well, the
There's even
AAA.
a few points I could actually elaborate on once we get done with it all, if they're not in there for whatever reason. Because I've done some research. Yeah, I've done some research too into Ubisoft and their weird kind of back channel connections to everyone and everything within, you know, the hierarchy of games, and all the way to, you know, the Lulu, so to speak, and the you know, WF United Nations.
You mean like Metal Gear, the Lali Lulu?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
it
well,
goes
that's
far and wide. It goes deep, dude.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, give me a second and I will get this fucking thing on the screen.
Most definitely.
But there we go. Chat, do you have anything to say?
Completely non-binary. Obvious, yes. Yep.
A non-binary. That's really good. Chat's on fire tonight, man.
Indeed.
That's good. That's some good shit. All right. So what do we have then? We have an autistic deep dive into Sweet Baby Inc.'s origins from a sex podcast. That's right. And that's right.
That's right. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. The touch of the black man, of course. So this video came out. This is Side Scrollers, of course. Smash JT was on as a guest, so I was having a look. Not that I wouldn't watch anyway. I like this show a lot. I'm a big fan of Craig, going all the way back to Screw Attack. And what can I say? Except Madame Savvy has done, she's exceeded herself. You know, she's known for thorough research into certain things. This is next level. What she's uncovered is the total breaking of the game industry. So let's stick it on just a little bit faster than it normally is, and that should do. And we can go from there. And we'll try and get through as much of this as we can before we get to about an hour from now or so. All right. Here we go.
All right. So that's the
Really
co-founder.
keeping it in the house, aren't they?
Oh,
I mean, they have 3 co-founders, right?
Yeah,
Don't
Baby Inc. has
worry.
3
That other
co-founders.
one makes an appearance too.
For those who don't know, the co-founders of Sweet Baby Inc. were Kim Belair, David Bedard, and Ari McGillivray. Fucking hell, that is such a mouthful of thumbtacks to say. It's really annoying.
You know, they don't have any respect or care for you.
And I'm Scottish by blood. So if I can't say it, who the fuck can?
Look, this all happened before Sweet Baby Inc. Is this correct?
Yep. I went through all of the.
I've skipped the initial part where they're all stunned about the Bowser stuff because we all know about that already. I recognize everybody in the chat, or they've seen it somewhere at some point. You know, this was after we talked about it, and I prayed that it would blow up. And yesterday I saw Geeks and Gamers talking about it. So, yeah, that's going to go far now.
Well, most of the tweets up until halfway through 2016. And then my browser crashed and I lost my place because I was scrolling the main feed, archiving everything. So it's long before then, but some of the usual suspects always seem to show up.
In the podcast, you mean?
In the podcast and who they retweet and what few comments that they had. You know, it's the usual suspect, the small handful of people who go on to create 3 or 4 or 5 consulting agencies. These people also seem to routinely make multiple podcasts because they just don't know how to make one brand and talk about multiple things. They have to, try their hands on multiple subjects.
Yeah.
What she's going to get into is going to be how a lot of these consulting firms are spun out of the marketing department or HR from Ubisoft specifically. And a lot of the people that are given these positions seem to like come out of Concord University to bring another failed game into the conversation.
I mean, what we see is in this video is the fact that there is one group that was left by Gamergate 1 failing to run rampant and infiltrate not just several AAA companies under several company names, but almost every company in the AAA space. The conclusion that I've had to draw from this, sadly, and we'll get to it at the end, is that AAA is not worth it.
No,
really
and even AAA knows at this point, which is why they're doing this whole spin-off scenario, because they're trying to hide the tracks of Ubisoft being connected to these things, and they want people to think that these are, triple I, like really high quality independent games, and they're just trying, and now that this thing has completely fallen on its face, I don't even think they know what to do at this point, because it's like,
completely.
They're going to have to make shell corporations within shell corporations within shell corporations that are, like invested by holding houses and all this kind of stuff.
That's it. Anyway, let's crack on.
I think the most interesting one, though, is, of course, the fact that Kim Belair attempted to also have a wrestling podcast, which only made it to...
That one surprised me.
I know. That one made me laugh my ass off.
Fuck. I mean, you and I would be better
saw it in the
off
image. She
about
had
wrestling.
the tag team belts there, and
I know,
her
yeah.
sexy,
I guess she's a wrestling fan. Probably only since the women's evolution or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean,
no, you're roboting, buddy. I'm just gonna hit play.
So about 2 episodes.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, would you like a visual aid?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, let me figure out how to do this and
Because
not show you my dirty,
no matter where I went,
tabs. Let's see here.
No matter where I fucking went, I could not find
Seb, you have dirty
this
tabs. Are you
map
kidding me?
which is made,
Oh
and I
man,
want it.
I really need a 2 PC setup.
If anybody knows Savvy, tell her I want a copy of that.
I know.
Because,
I want to be
I
like,
play
like
with
the
fire
size of
every
a
single
Subway
day.
advertisement.
Yeah, right. I mean, I need it on a wall. I need to be like Charlie with the fucking cigarette and the string. I need to be like that.
Okay.
All right, this should work. This is the safe browser.
Okay,
Yes.
here we go. What do we have?
Okay,
here?
can I make this a little bit wider?
Yeah,
I
yeah, just-
can. Okay. Hang on. Let me put you guys
That's
over
what she
here.
said.
I got to do multiple
You can actually go and find the URL from this, but it won't let you in.
monitors to make sure I'm doing this.
Okay.
All right.
So
I made a visual aid because I'm a visual learner, and that's just how my TISM works best. So I looked at this board.
Is she really autistic? She's got amazing social skills for an autistic person. If
No,
she is.
they try to put everybody on the spectrum these days so they can disarm us all eventually.
I know.
But
I even had some old hag
I
try to
think
put
now
me on
just
the
means
spectrum once.
passionate and focused.
Diligent, thorough.
Board is strictly just based off of every connection for the sexiest podcast by the 2 SBI individuals, right? So let's just get a brief little introduction here. So we have Kim.
It's like that
and-
Always Sunny and Filmy meme right now with the
right. 100%.
I really am. That's
It's weird hearing Smash and he's not on this show right now. He's in that what we're watching because I'm used to him coming on here as well.
me. This isn't the first time I've done this. I still have my physical board. But so Ariadne, however you pronounce the last name, within the podcast, because I'm
Ariadne, I guess.
certain people don't want to go listen to the sexiest Smash Bros podcast. She genuinely, and this is again a co-founder of SBI who makes commentary on video games and consults for video games and claims to be able to write for video games, did not
Video games, okay.
genuinely know who the fuck Bowser was.
Did she say that in the podcast?
Yes, she genuinely went, "Who is Bowser?"
Yeah, she didn't know.
Wow.
And then she also didn't know Mr. Game & Watch. She didn't know other basic characters. And then they had a discussion on the age of Sheik, which is who Zelda transforms into.
Oh, she doesn't transform. It's a disguise.
Yeah.
It's just done like that in the game to, oops, sorry, I've lost full screen.
The technological limitations of the time.
Yeah, exactly. But they made it a transformation in Smash because, of course, you need to be able to fight as well. You don't have time to change clothes.
Abstractions.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of people would probably pay to see that. perverts like Kimberly. But anyway, it turns out actually that there are two schools of thought on Link and Zelda's ages. They're either 17 or 19 in the
lore
adult timeline.
Right.
So one of these would make Sheik a minor. And actually that's the prevailing one. The 19-year-old one is something that they seem to have started to retcon recently. But yeah, basically for the benefit of brevity, Link and Zelda are minors even when they're in adult form.
Because they had to, of course, make sure that it was okay to find Sheik sexy.
Okay.
Oh, they
doesn't know basic Pokemon.
They like Sheik because, in their words, she looked gender neutral. And
To be fair, when I was a kid, and maybe it was the limitations of the graphics at the time, I thought Zelda was dressed up as Sheik to look like a dude. So,
yeah, that was the whole point, was to
apparently
make herself...
Sheik is canonically female now.
Oh, well, then like, I mean, that didn't even make sense to me, because when I watched it, it was always like Sheik was supposed to be quote unquote a dude, so it was more of a surprise when it's like, oh no, I've just been disguised this whole time, and I'm actually,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, if you were really trying to throw people off, you would dress up like a dude, wouldn't you? If you were a girl.
Yeah.
No, well.
Yep. So before, though, we go too far into this, I just wanted to show that little area. So we have SBI, right? So we have the sexiest podcast, and then we have the failed wrestling podcast, which I really appreciate this tweet that they had. So our hosts become contestants in the first episode of WrestleGamia. Now, why is
that name is shit?
This presentation important? If you go over to that actual account, it says that they're the hosts, but this tweet implies that they're merely participating in it. There's only one like on it. Of course, we can't see the viewership number because back then they didn't track it.
Right.
But yeah, so that was funny. I love misrepresentations like that. Now, just that way you can see the whole picture at a glance first. This is the amount of work I did.
I thought misrepresentation was
just
Kim Belair's wrestling name.
Yeah. Now this is the whole map. You can obviously see it's going places.
Accounts, connection.
We'll
But what I did
it.
was all of these arrows that come into this side of it.
Wait. Zoom in on that real quick.
So we come down here and I tried to spread everybody out and tried to get a good look at them. So we have people who worked on the IP director for Far Cry. We have this individual who was previously at Ubisoft. We have this individual.
And so these people were all guests at one point or another on the sexiest podcast.
Yep. It's cronyism at play.
And even Kim Belair originally came out of Ubisoft.
Yep. She was right out of the marketing department. And she was hired by HR to for her ideological perspective, which again, I can't remember specifically if she's also from Concord University, but more often than not, a lot of these people have connections to Concord University. It's the weirdest goddamn thing.
Right.
Who has also worked at Ubisoft as a voice actor, but interesting enough, also on Zao, the recent game.
Oops.
Interesting.
Who they hired there.
Okay.
We have this individual who claims to be a narrative designer, but they're locked, obviously. We have this individual who is, wow, look, a senior writer at Ubisoft. That's amazing. Oh, look, here's another one, Ubisoft. So I started noticing very much so a trend.
These are all guests that were on this.
These are all guests. I have all of the. I put some of the tweets showing the invite.
Somehow Savvy managed to acquire all the episodes of the sexiest podcast, whereas I could only find the 4 that are on SoundCloud.
Of them. But so here's Mr. Pope, Eric Pope, previously Ubisoft. He was working at Ubisoft while he was guesting on this. Right. And then this person who, interestingly enough, doesn't actually fit their circle. If their circle found out that she was into Web3, they would crucify her. But interestingly, look at that. Past Ubisoft.
So as we progress through this, it becomes more and more clear that basically everybody in this clique, for want of a better term, the Sweet Baby Inc. massive are ex-Ubisoft, super woke,
right?
Nepotism friendly.
Yeah, the one layer that Zabby doesn't have in her research is the thing that I'm talking about. So if you actually want to understand the indoctrination level of how they onboard people into this, through colleges. That's if you go to Problematic White Guy, I have a video there about a woman. Her name's Nadhai Hadia or something like that. But she is quite literally the financier who created the funding model for these games that are trying to get across the idea of climate change initiatives. And there was an 8-hour long.
I mean, climate change is the new COVID, of course.
But
it's the old COVID too, but it's back with a vengeance. You know?
Right. The reason why it stuck out to me, because this was GDC of this last year, they had an 8-hour long session, and a long session for GDC generally goes 2 hours. And so it's comprised an entire Tuesday. And so I was like, who are these people? What's this all about? And you do some digging, you find out that she is directly from Arsht, which is the pseudonym for the Rockefeller Foundation. And she created the funding model that integrated Ubisoft into the climate change initiative specifically so that they can make these back channels. So all this money from the WWF, the United Nations and everything that can flow into Ubisoft and then be filtered out to all of these supposedly independent game companies through third-party consulting firms.
Right. Damn.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
It is. It is.
So my little autistic brain needed visual representation. Holy shit, look at them.
Stop calling yourself autistic.
Most of them connect to Ubisoft. That's a trend in my book.
Oh, well, that's where Kim got started with David Bedard. So they all knew each other from there.
Yeah. And then
and this is the funny thing as well. Ubisoft is the company that has now probably faced the backlash the worst. I'd say apart from maybe Sweet Baby Inc., which had to like take its fucking social medias down and redo its website and go into hiding. Ubisoft though has lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
It is my theory that they're tanking the company specifically so that this investigation that we're but they wanted to get it out of the ownership of anybody that can actually put their eye on it, and so they have to get it behind communist China so that it's completely they can nuke the servers and just kind of like act like none of it's anything more than just intellectual property holding for familiar brands at that point. Like this is them doing the entire this scrub job that's happening right now. So it's important that we do all this work now before that actually comes to pass, because that is ultimately what they're trying to do. At least that's my theory.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So if we come over here, if we come back to the origin of it, then we come over to this strange post that I thought.
Oh God, here we go. We're straight into the Kim Belair wheelhouse now. Hello, John Platt, by the way. We are straight into the wheelhouse.
Zoophile.
Zoophile, yeah. She likes antelopes. Apparently her brother's into dogs.
With hyperbole. Tomorrow, it's a family affair as Bagel of Death's brother stops by to talk about sexiest cartoon dog.
That's not weird at all.
No. Now, I thought
her two dogs.
Surely this is hyperbole, correct?
So
she has
those poor dogs.
Yep. Bagel of Death too. Looking at that name very differently now.
Yeah, it's like a vaggie, like
a wide open hole.
Yeah.
God.
They have another post where they actually post what I guess they'd consider sexy dogs. You probably have big plans tonight. Get into the mood with.
There is a category for that in Pornhub. Yes, you're right, Steve.
Sexiest cartoon dog with Sean, blah blah blah. Right. So that's kind of weird. Well, I want to
actually just while we're on that. It was about 10 years ago that I started to notice, back when I used to frequent the old Singleton websites, that that everything had suddenly become about stepbrothers, stepsisters, stepmother, and stepfather, and like everything.
They said they were following a trend, but I believe that they were forcing a trend.
I think they were pushing that trend. Yeah, they were absolutely being. I mean, if you're going to attack the nuclear family, how do you do it? Well, you have everybody shagging each other.
The time frame that you're talking about was, when I worked at a porn shop myself, and there was, like a small section of stuff like that mixed in with other things, but it was mostly like the big thing in porn at the time, from an actual seller standpoint, was parody content and things like that. And then it
Dragon Age Veilguard, for the benefit of the chat, Dragon Age Veilguard is alive in 50 minutes for those poor people who actually want to play it.
whether or not they were actually related. Here's a tweet from Sean saying, "Me and my sister are scaring the clients." And here he is, and he's tagged Kim Belair. And of course, she's got her pronouns and whatever this chat thing is. Tag yourself, everybody tag yourself. I'm anxiety nightmare, fuck. And then Sean here is saying, I'm anxiety nightmare, bruh. Like, great discourse there. I'm glad you guys are scaring the clients with your stability. So
just terrify them.
Treasure trove of information.
Sorry, dude. Was that you?
Yeah, I said just terrify them, to call back to our GDC
just
line.
go for a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is the thing, though. She sounds relatively competent, even as evil as that statement is. When she gives that speech, she sounds like she has some idea what she's talking about, but she's just some knuckle dragging pervert. That's all she is.
Go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them. With the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
But hey, that's just a theory. A theory.
That smug look on her face is all the more, sinister is the appropriate word for all of this.
I mean, I'd look pretty smug too if I had absolutely no business working in an industry because I knew fucking nothing about the industry. And yet, and my biggest claim to fame to that point was talking about fucking the bad guy from Mario. And then somehow I end up on stage talking to a bunch of people more qualified than me.
Right. This is like,
I guess if I was a complete hack, if I was like an ultra grifter, I would be pretty proud of that, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, like she won the game, as it were, so to speak, going in through the back door. Ha ha ha. And but a lot of this stuff, when you actually start looking at like the way they name these companies after like like Ghost this, all Weird Ghosts, Baby Ghosts, Sweet Baby Inc.
It's weird as well because in the podcast they have a conversation. We didn't listen to it, but at some point during that podcast they have a conversation about how Pac-Man eats ghosts.
Right. And so like that's what I'm saying. This is like soul cooking. This is very, very dark magic level stuff that's, playing out in subtle ways that people don't pay attention to. Like there's a lot more to this than people even want to know, unfortunately.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No one wants to know about any of this. I don't want it to turn out that the whole game industry has been compromised by one group of people.
But that's the thing, like the video that I'm talking about that I made, I literally diagram how this all like this at least goes back to 2004, at least, if not prior to that. But 2004, I started going to Savannah College of Art and Design in 2005. I was part of their pilot program for the game industry, or for the game development and systems. Well, it was game design and interactive development is what they called it. And the head of our department, her name is Brenda Brathwaite. She wrote a book on sex in games and was part of the Wizardry series back in the 80s. And so like her whole push while she was there was to start platforming the girls in class. And like, because she was made the president of Women in Games, which is a special interest group that is a subsidiary of IGDA, which is the International Game Developers Association, which is the largest special interest group on the planet. And the people who actually fund GDC, and GDC 2008 or 2009 was the year that she became the president of Women in Games. And so all this stuff is about platforming this this idea so they could create a indoctrination center. And so, like I say, it goes back at least that far. But when you actually look at how, like, this was done through climate change initiatives, which ultimately turned into ESG, DEI, and everything like that. This thing, like, that's what I'm saying. Is like,
I mean, that's when the WEF got in, of course, because it's that it's all coming out of Switzerland, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, go check out There's more stuff there if you want to go deeper. But let's continue.
Yeah.
This is the brother of Kim Belair.
Huh?
This is the brother of Kim Belair?
Yeah, this is the actual brother of Kim Belair. So he works for Sweet Baby Inc.
Okay.
Because of course he does.
Yep.
You know what's funny though? What did I say to Craig and Smash before we went live? I said Kim Belair looks like her parents are brother and sister. And lo and behold, her brother's in this giant web with her.
And they're talking about sexy dogs together.
He has a different last name as well.
The fact that he came on specific.
His name is Sean Hennigan. Why? Well, where did she get her name? Is she married? I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
No married woman has that many pets
maybe
and collects taxidermy.
maybe she's doing some kind of weird shit where like she's denouncing her father's last name or
probably,
something like that.
yeah,
but
something
but
like that.
instead it's like, oh, it's such granddads, you know?
Yeah. Maybe.
Talk about dogs. He posts a lot of pictures with dogs.
Yikes.
That is a little bit weird. Again, once or twice or joking about things is just, you know, fun, engaging in your fiction.
And then talking about the sexiest dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But when it starts to be a pattern, you start to wonder, especially with the fact that Kim Belair admits to being sexually attracted to turtle dick and antelope penis.
This is true, actually.
Let's actually take a step back there and let's decompress that. What do you when you say she's confessed to being attracted to turtle dick and antelope penis?
She wants that.
I'm sorry.
Wants that
Whenever I hear him talking about turtle dick and antelope penis, and I'm thinking, I don't think he even would have talked about that on Screw Attack.
Yeah, I know. Well, especially with the name Screw Attack.
Yeah, right. Of course, from Metroid.
What are you talking about?
This is not a misrepresentation or my own hyperbole. I also realized how dark it is in my room. I even attempted that, regardless of whether it was mammalian penis on Bowser being drawn at.
I might as well look at
this. For the record, this is the same lady who runs a company that is built around inclusivity and scaring PR,
terrifying.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And
he retweeted this, but he's clearly agreeing with Kotaku and Ariel Knight here. But Ariel Knight is somebody that this person also interacts with quite often.
Mm-hmm.
So, the other interesting thing too in the Super Smash Bros. Podcast is she makes it a point while talking about the Bowser thing that she's like, oh yeah, you know, now that I'm here, I might as well look at all of it. But of course, that doesn't mean, you know, not the non-consensual stuff. Look
at that George Floyd sign, man. People are so fucking stupid.
I thought that was Aisuke from Assassin's Creed Shadows.
It is Yasuke, yeah.
Out of her way to mention how she still finds non-consensual fictional art problematic. But it sounds like she's overcompensating for the fact that she wants to fuck animals or be fucked by animals because and they can't fucking consent. To me, that like when people make such a big stink over non-consensual fiction, which is often depicted in Hollywood, no problem. When you make such a gross overcorrection and you have to constantly say like, oh, you think
has at her house.
There, that Savvy hasn't hit so far.
Yeah, a couple things.
That's grim.
Got most of the big
That's
ones.
Grim, man.
There was a strange part where Kim was talking about how she was into when she selected a character of games that she would always play the male.
Because of the big shoulders. We talked about this. We can crack on. We need to get back into the part of this, them talking about
there's a lot of irony there. Just
when I made the thumbnail last night with that, people thought it was a company, and this is still a live account with these pictures are all still up there. Don't you think I don't know.
They're very stupid and think that they're
untouchable,
but it gets better if we come back to my
still going live in 40 minutes because I'll be sending everybody over there.
Yeah, this is the sorbet.
Here's a little bit of irony.
I'm not. This is the appetizer. Yeah. I'll be going to watch too. Fuck it. Why not? I want to see what happens.
The game is looking really dope. What game is he talking about? Suicide Squad.
Oh.
And he admits to being on the writing team. I thought everybody was trying to tell us that they just provide a little bit of feedback. What?
Yeah, this is where it really turns into a shit show. Because at the end of the day, what she's uncovered here is not just that it unravels their entire narrative because they have actually worked for Ubisoft. They've gone on and they've spread out and they've infected multiple companies, and they have all written script for the games, not script like code, like dialogue, like plot, etc., scenes. And the unfortunate thing about that is that means they are in fact walking in and doing the work for people and making it incredibly DEI driven, ESG obsessed, and woke beyond fucking.
I mean, I've tried to explain this for months now that like the whole idea of what a consulting firm is there for is astroturfing people into positions of power that then make people who have talent, skill, and ability underlings to the ideology. This is exactly how it works and why it works, and and this was the thing that they were pushing when I was in the game when I was in the game development program at SCAD. They were talking about kind of like how games were evolving and this and that. And this is the kind of stuff they were actually talking about how, like, you know, they were going to get more women into the industry through doing this kind of stuff, specifically because they weren't able to compete. Like, even still today, like, you know, 80% of the industry in terms of the talent, skill, and ability people is men. You know, not to say there aren't talented, skilled women that can do this stuff.
I mean, but guys are attracted to things, as in not sexually attracted. Obviously, I'm talking about that.
Right, making engines, making systems,
making things, building things, designing structures and systems and things that work to better everybody's lives. That's what guys are into. We're more likely to focus on technology than women are. Women are biologically driven, much more so to think about relationships, the tribe, the greater good of the family, etc., etc. That's why men and women work really well together, because they cover all bases.
Right. But that's the reason too why I say the woman who's the head of our department was a woman specifically. They wanted to make sure that the first person who was the head of the art or the game design department was a woman, because they were behind, I believe, after all this stuff's played out, this was part of the platforming of getting women in games to be what it's become in the industry. So this has all been an ideological indoctrination front for decades.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the whole thing is designed to attack the idea of men and women doing their traditional roles, thus to create weak men and butch women who are not satisfied by the lifestyles that they lead, don't end up fulfilling themselves, and end up miserable and alone.
And all these women have weird kind of forms of deviance. Like Brenda Brathwaite herself, the last game that she worked on before she became the production, or before she became the head of our department, was the Playboy game with, you know, like the one that was kind of like The Sims. And so, and she, like I said, she wrote her book about sex in games. And so, like, all this stuff is about, like, you know, like trying to, she also did consulting, I believe, for Leisure Suit Larry. When they did the when they did the reboot,
Leisure Suit Larry, fuck, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, and so that's what I mean. Is like, that's how far and wide and deep this thing goes. Is like,
of course, and this is why they attack the nuclear family as well. They attack the idea that men and women should partner up and hit well, hit each other, I suppose. You know what I mean? And make a family together. And I can actually attest to this to some extent. I don't like to keep wanking on about it too much, but you know, I recently got married, and something in my mindset changed, was taken up a notch from just being in a couple, you know, with a baby on the way, to being a father of a married nuclear family. Something pulls it out of you, the drive to protect and serve, I suppose, is actually, do you know what I mean? To find ways to work harder, that little bit harder than you've ever worked before, that little bit more driven than I've ever been before. Just that little impetus that says there are people whose lives depend on me.
Right.
And that makes me, and even just buying groceries, stuff, simple shit, right? It feels better. It feels fulfilling. Whereas when I was a bachelor and I was living in a studio apartment, I would go and buy some crap from the supermarket. I don't give a fuck, whatever. Just fill my fridge up and eat it whenever I feel like it. Not fulfilling. Buying groceries to plan meals for the rest of the week to make sure that my wife, my kid, my father as well are
taken care of, and not just like, you know, like fed in the sense of like, you know, like here's something for your stomach, but it's actually nourished and like, you know, taken care of.
And also that they're satisfied in terms of, you know, that feeling of, I just had a really good meal. My dad loves to make curries.
Yeah,
made a fantastic curry last night.
Yeah, familial aspect of cooking in the kitchen with the family and like all that kind of stuff. They've been trying to break that up for decades now. Like a lot of this stuff, when you actually start seeing it. Yeah, these
people that she's talking about, their ultimate goal is to smash the family to pieces and create losers who are alone and cope by having pets, which is what Kim Belair is, of course, and thus sit and fantasize about bondage daddy Bowser. It's broken. If you want to be like these fucking people, you are insane, because you are going against the very things that in life that will fulfill you, the mundane tasks that I just described, that make me feel fulfilled, like I earned a good night's sleep. You know, It's the little things that you do for the people you love, for the greater good, for the future. If you don't have that, you ain't got shit.
Right. And the other thing
I
they
haven't
talk
really
about
gone on a
here,
rant like this before about this, but I appreciate that we're talking about it. It's
right. And the
important
other,
shit.
and the other thing that they go on about in this weird kind of thing that they're talking to is, you know, how a lot of these people don't have the talent, skill, and ability that would be required to actually make games, right? And
no, of course, none of these people she's talking about on that map of hers are actually in any way talented or skilled at
and when
anything
I was in,
that is required to make a game. Yeah.
And when I was in the game design department at Savannah College of Art and Design, they did not teach us how to make games. What we got, the closest thing we got to making games was the Unreal Engine. What is everybody doing now? Unreal Engine 5, right? Because they want a whole bunch of people that can easy button their way through shit, that only know how to schmooze and like, you know, like stick their nose up someone's ass and like kind of like, you know, just be like another
I mean, it's no different than what she's literally talking about in side scrollers with this map, right?
Yeah.
None of these people are qualified to be doing what they're doing as a career.
Right.
They have no business being in this industry, and everything that they touch turns to shit. The entire company that bore them all, because all of them seem to have come out of that fucking Ubisoft chrysalis as busted ass, broken brown little butterflies instead of
and they were all hired by the same HR team,
and then they spread out. Bullied their way, bullied their way in with DEI, ESG threats, telling people to go get cups of coffee with their marketing team and get them hired. And then what do? They hire their relatives, their friends. They get connections with this company because, I used to work with that guy at this company. Oh, so they're going to make sure that when they need to hire a DEI firm because of the investment banks, the asset management firms, the private equity firms, et cetera, that suddenly bring down the Swiss demands for more and more ESG, they're going to go, well, I do have a buddy who works in a company like that.
The one woman that I was talking about.
You have 50 people who are running an entire fucking industry that is running itself into the goddamn ground, and the whole thing is corrupt. It's like the Democrat Party, except it's the gaming industry, and it is eating itself alive. It will not survive for much longer, and it is time that we take Grums's idea for a boycott for at least a couple of years of all AAA very seriously. The only people who should be buying these games right now are streamers.
I think we have to go further than that. I think we just have to accept that, you know, like I said this last night, you know, in our private chat, we're past the bargaining stage. We're past denial. We just have to
absolutely.
There's no reason. All these things are dead and they're never coming back, and they will never, like, there's no reason to ambulate the zombie corpse of something just because it's familiar to you. Like, the irony of this whole thing is, like, Chris Kindred, we were just laughing about how he got himself out of the situation. I wonder if Kindred's actually his last name, because Kindred is something that is, you know, more associated with dark magic, a kindred familiar spirit, like things like that. Like, when you start actually looking into what all this stuff kind of like what it's really about, and kind of like what it kind of suggests, you know, there is something far darker going on than, you know, like meets the eye. And, you know, I mean, it's like I jokingly say Transformers. The chick is just a guy. There's like, I mean, this whole thing is, you know, so many different levels of deception.
Nope, you're roboting again.
Going on.
Oh dear.
When
I
was there in the industry, when I was there at SCAD, I know, I'm waiting until I stop. Yeah, when I was there at you know, in the narrative design, because that's what they told me, is like, you should be in narrative design. That's why I always talk about how you can't spell design without DEI. That's what they were trying to, because I guess I looked, you know, I was young and smooth at the time, whatever. They wanted me to kind of like be in their, you know, in their whole thing. And, you know, I had too much, I guess, principle and value to want to go along with it. And so I would talk about this shit while I was there in art school, and like just call it out and said, you know, basically what was going to happen over the next 10 to 15 years, because I saw how they were bringing in this system to undermine what actual game development was about. And, you know, they were trying to get me to just kind of be like, oh, you'd be a great producer, you'd be a great, like, you know, like they wanted to appeal to, you know, my materialism and whatnot. And thankfully, because I was married to that crazy woman, I had my fill of materialism and didn't want to be a part of what they were ultimately trying to get me to be a party to. I mean, this thing is beyond grotesque.
There's people in the chat saying, yeah, it's like, it's satanic, it's... There you go. Now, actually, since I am on the subject, James Up just did a $2 super chat, and thank you very much for that. Appreciate you. Says to check my DMs for Smash JT's new post. So I'm just going to do that right now.
Yep.
And happy BioWare Dragon Age the Veilguard launch day. Yay! Happy Dragon Age Veilguard launch day, everybody. Enjoy the misery.
Right?
We made it! We made it! We did it! We're here at last. It's been fucking ages, but we're finally here. Dragon Age is finally upon us. We can all see just how utterly unbearable it actually is. And yeah, what does it say here? Did you know that BioWare hired a oh shit.
Wow.
Did you know that BioWare hired a
demons, like demons.
Yeah.
To work on the game? A former employee of Kotaku with a long history of false accusations against anyone who stands in his way in the video game industry by supporting this game. You are actively encouraging the game industry to continue down this path. Buyer beware. Buyer beware. This dude belongs in a padded room, not a credit roll. Oh, this is Laura Kate Dale. Yes.
Yeah.
I did see this. Yes. I told him to drop and give me 50 barbs.
Right. Right.
For sins.
They say the more you look into this thing, the more it actually does look like some kind of weird Epstein Diddy party insanity.
It looks like.
Yeah.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown.
Fuck, you wanted a Halloween stream, they got
Demonic
it.
presence at unsafe levels.
We brought the girls today for sure. Like this is, like I say, this is yeah. And you know what's weird though too? Just think about this. Today is Halloween, and I know I'm going off on like this whole darkness and like
no, I mean, hey, we might as well. I mean, we're surrounded by fucking demons. We might as well have it. Yeah.
But they believe, all right, so Satanism and like dark magic is all based around numerology and like symbology and all this kind of stuff. The fact that they're releasing this today on Halloween in and of itself is something that is probably darker than any of us want to actually even contemplate.
Yeah, this isn't fun like a horror movie. This is real darkness, real evil, real demonic, Well, I don't want to say possession because I feel like people are just tricked.
Ubisoft,
but no, all right, I'll get it off screen. Sorry, chat. Sorry.
Ubisoft announcing that they're going to turn Assassin's Creed into a semi-annual release in terms of, or not semi-annual, but a biannual release because they're every 6 months, and the next game they have is their next. Yes, they're saying every 6 months. Every 6 months they want to
unlearning everything that they learned. Like they literally stopped after Syndicate because they were getting worked to the bone. And we're having to do so much crunch, and it was downplaying the importance of each actual game that they were putting out one a year. So they took 2 years and came back with Origins, and people were pretty happy with that.
If the purpose of this stuff though is for dark magic rather than actually like business, because at a certain level, like it's the whole thing about like people with power don't care about money. Like Epstein, when you start getting into it. It's like people will kind of debate, like, where did his money come from? It doesn't really matter. The power that he had was what it was all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this stuff being the funding model that I'm talking about, the WF, the United Nations, and like, they literally taught them, this is how you set it up to go through the marketing department to like, they make these slush funds. And so every company starts, they also have a nonprofit that they use to get money, and then that money gets spun into the company or spun out to another, another independent. And so they literally make pyramid schemes that all track back to Ubisoft. I mean, that's the thing about all this stuff. This is about influence and power via money, but ultimately this is about, tainting the world and like, clouding people's vision.
Of course, yeah, no, I understand. This
Welcome to
person, Laura Kate Dale, yeah, who this avatar is actually much nicer to look at. It's always a cartoon with these fucking people as well, isn't it? Whether it's anime or something else. Anyway, Laura Kate Dale has been an author, I suppose, of this book that has a 4.8 out of 5 on Goodreads, called Me and My Dysphoria Monster. Helping children cope with gender dysphoria, and I truly hope that is all Smash JT means when he says predator.
This is sacrifice. This is a blood
Written
sacrifice.
by a
they're trying to get across.
dude who pretends to be a woman. Quote, but sometimes the doctor isn't right. Sometimes people are told they're a boy when actually that person knows they're a girl.
Right.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown.
When you think about what a veil is for, right? Like I say, this is dark magic. Veilguard. They are the ones that are shielding everybody from what's going on behind the curtain. And so, like, they put this out as a video game to work a fiction.
Yeah.
There's far more.
Oh yeah, of course. They always
project
project this
there
shit
is
out.
truth in the news, right? And so, like, and most people they don't want to think about dark magic as actually being something that fuels the reality that we live in.
Of course, no. Of course, the occult can go fuck off, but sometimes people are told they're a girl when they know they're a boy, and so for some people they will grow up and not feel like a boy or a girl at all. But people will continue to call them a boy or a girl.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown.
Doom guy, we need you. When that happens, people like you and me will get a visit from our gender dysphoria monster. You're teaching children to fear their own fucking gender, you cunt.
Yep.
You sick cunt.
Like I say, this is
Get in the fucking sea.
Yeah. I mean, this
Don't
is
belong
quite
here.
literally a blood sacrifice. This is about, the end of mankind. When I go on and on as I do about transhumanism, I've been talking about this for 30 fucking years. And a lot of people think I'm crazy about it, but the more that we get closer to what's capable technologically, I don't sound so crazy anymore.
YouTube is supporting it as well. Yeah, well, it's not exactly a massive shock to me, to be honest, because I saw what Coco Melon put out, a year ago or whatever, with the My Two Dads thing and the boy in the tutu. Oh, hey, here we can see plenty of people. Nice. Cool. Well, there you go. This is wood chipper, exactly. Yeah. That is fucked. That is fucked. It's never going to stop either, because it's
from the top down.
The only way you can stop it is absolute rejection, total rejection, complete and total rejection is the only thing I can say.
We have to
you
find new things
gotta turn
to
around and
support.
say to these people that they need to, KYS.
Yeah, it's quite literally support small independent companies that you can actually vet as being real and legitimate, that have artistic integrity behind what they're doing. Otherwise, get yourself a hat like this, head to the high seas if you're going to get anything that
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's it. Do not
I
support.
mean, people ask me all the time, what should I do? Because I've been saying, and Ryan has this philosophy as well with me, that the whole thing is fucked, as we've obviously discovered from the Sweet Baby Inc. thing, and the fact that they're all related and they're all from the same place, and they're all going out and infecting every single fucking kindred spirits, right? Every single company is an ex fucking alum of Sweet Baby Inc. or Ubisoft rather, and Ubisoft, of course, is the epicenter of all of this. This is the black hole that's imploding because people are rejecting it, and that's fine. That's great, actually, and you should support them just like you should support us sitting here talking about it. But at the end of the day, the only thing you can do is completely reject it. But people aren't quite ready to let go in the games industry, and this frustrates the fuck out of me. People who sit on shows I watch still think that you can actually reason with these demons.
Right. And that's why I say fence sending is the worst fucking thing, because they're the useful idiots they're going to use to try to censor us and not actually say the things that we're taking the time to actually say today.
The industry is compromised. The entire industry.
It's beyond compromise. It's corrupted.
Yeah, completely. There is really not much. I mean, of all the games that have come out this year, which like AAA games can you think of that haven't pissed everybody off, had some massive backlash, and resulted in a catastrophe? I mean,
no, the only things
Space
that have been
Marine
successful
2,
have been games that
Space Marine 2
didn't-
is one.
I suppose
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is another.
Right.
And I suppose you could somewhat lump Silent Hill into that, but there's a lot of fucking things wrong with that too. But
yeah, there is.
I haven't played it. It doesn't
Silent
seem
Hill
to.
again is another occult-based game, so like that's the thing that you have to kind of start thinking about. What is it? That you're
Asia
consuming?
doesn't get this yet. Asia doesn't seem to have gone completely in. They're not a true believer yet. The Asian companies, Japanese companies, Korean companies, etc., they're not really, really drinking the Kool-Aid yet.
Right.
So when they censor things, they censor them because of what they perceive to be puritanical, conservative moral panic, which is like the Jack Thompsons of the world, people like that. Whereas the world's moved on from that. The shoe's on the other foot now, and now it's a diamond-studded fucking spiked stiletto that's trying to be inserted up your asshole because someone's filming it and they want to make money on OnlyFans. It's fucked.
Yeah, if I could expound on like the black magic aspects again, it's like the word television, vision, channeling. Channeling has to do with invoking spirits. Like they don't call it programming because it's what's on, it's what's being done to you, and a lot of this is made so that you don't even see it for it being anything more than a work of fiction. And it's like and there's so many things that happen in fiction that then later actually happen in reality. And when someone like me who sits here and talks about how well, they're doing this to kind of get it in your mind's eye first to manifest the concept. So, and this is the reality. This is the state of reality that we are living in. Quite literally, this is a battle of
it's a battle for the soul of the West.
Indeed.
When I say that the companies don't completely get it, they even when you saw the interview with the Dragon Quest creator and the people from Square, they were still acting like this censorship shit. You can't have sexy characters, etc. is coming from the right. It's not.
Right. No.
We all accepted a certain level of skin on display a long time ago. I mean, I never had an issue with that. I was never that conservative, but I am certainly more conservative than I am communist. But anyway,
men are men, women are women, as long as you're not bastardizing
leave the family
porn
alone, because that is literally what needs to happen for the good of the species. And they're trying to undo that. They're trying to weaken everybody because it's much easier when you divide and conquer. In the meantime, artooleetoo, as if responding to my request for people to support people like us, has gifted 5 Will of the Fans memberships. And thank you very much for that, you lucky people. Appreciate you. If you got anything to say, you can always jump in with a super or whatever you want, and we appreciate it all. It helps me to feed my kid, so they appreciate that. But of course,
the family.
I didn't think I thought like we were gonna have like a fun kind of roast of Dragon Age and talk about this, but we've gone down a different route here.
Well, it is Halloween. I mean, if you're going to do a day to do it, this is
might as well talk about the true fucking horror of the world, and this is it. This is what you're seeing. So when people come to me and they say, "What am I supposed to play if I boycott the AAA?" I'm like, "Okay, how about you play the games you played before, the greatest ones, the ones you really love, or how about you go back a generation and play the games you never played before? Why don't you get on Steam and fucking pick up the games that you missed from last generation, the generation before that, generation before that." Like, I never
games
finished
that are
Morrowind
selling for like $20, like Great Rebellion. I know I bring it up all the time, but it is.
It's a great game. Yeah, it's a great game from what I've seen. I haven't actually been able to play it yet, but you know what? I do own it. I mean, if I were just to look at the moment for my own damn Steam library, the games that I've bought in the last year, I had almost nothing on Steam until I completely switched, which was end of last year. I picked up the Batman Arkham games, which I never played Night. So great. I get to play all them again. Command & Conquer Remastered, Doom. I have it on PS4, but I figured rather play it on PC now. Alien Chronicle Rising, Elder Scrolls 3, 4, 5, Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, New Vegas, and Tactics. Got all of them for $10 when the TV show was on. That was ridiculous. Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 10, 10-2 HD Remaster. I have a 450-hour file on Final Fantasy 10. I got the Platinum. I finished the Sphere Grid. I got the maxed out 255 stats on every fucking character. I beat every boss. I completely obliterated that game. I might do it again. Just because I can on PC. I got some RPG Maker shit. I got GTA 3, 4. Fucking hell. Right. I got Vice City. I got San Andreas. I got 5. I got everything. I got both the Grandies. I got Great Rebellion, Hogwarts Legacy. Still never played more than 5 or 6 hours of that. Injustice 2, some Jackbox shit that I had before. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5, 2.5 remix, just in case I'm in the mood for that. Metal Gear Solid 2. Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, fucking hell, No Man's Sky, Power World, Red Dead Redemption 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, because it was going really, really cheap, SimCity 4 Deluxe, because I wanted to play that, South Park Fractured Butthole, Shredder's Revenge, then the Cowabunga Collection, the Tomb Raider 1-3 Remastered, and Warhammer 40,000 Gladius. I still haven't picked up Space Marine 2 yet. But look how many of those fucking games I've played before. Like 80% of them. I bought them because I will play them again. And I would rather play them again rather than actually have to engage with this fucking industry of corrupt pigs who are trying to destabilize society. I'm not having it. I don't care. If I have to play nothing but games I've played before for the rest of my life, you know what? Worse things happen at sea.
Indeed. And it's not just us that we're doing this for. It's just like quite literally like your daughter and like, you know, the next generations and generations beyond that. Like that's what this whole thing about this next week in reality is one of the most defining moments that we as humanity are actually going to be tested and challenged to, you know, either stand up for what we're, you know, have principles and
half of those games, by the way, are on the shelves behind me, on that one that's behind my head. You can't see it, but yeah, they're all there. I got all my PS1, 2, 3, 4 games on there. I haven't quite arranged my Wii and GameCube and Nintendo 64 and SNES and stuff games yet, but I'll get to it. I need more shelves.
Yeah,
but there you go. You can play these games again. I've never played Fallout 2. I played Fallout 1 a little bit, and then later finished it. Played Fallout 3 before that.
Yep.
Played New Vegas before. Played 4 before. Played all of them before. All these games.
Most the isometric Fallouts are great games. Yeah,
they're fantastic. I'll play them all again. I'm really having fun with the GTA Definitive Editions at the moment, even though they aren't really that great. They're kind of bad ports, but I'd rather play that than buy Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Right.
The only reason I would pick that up is if people told me, do it, we'll watch, you know, it will make it worth your while. People will subscribe to your channel or something. Then maybe I would do it.
Right. But if you're looking for good independent games to follow, join the FFS Discord. Because, you know, like one of my friends I went to college with, he actually has artistic integrity, much like me. He's too problematic white guy to be accepted in the industry because, you know, he has principles and values. And so he does a show currently on Kick, you know, that he just kind of reviews current games that are coming out that are independently made. There's a lot of things that we can support that are actually worth our time, worth our money, worth our effort, and actually helping create an actual stable, you know, economy of legitimate small businesses that, you know, can actually compete if we actually means.
Oh, I mean, look, I mean, I think I've told you before. I think I've made it very clear before that I really, as an end game, would like to have made a game before I kick it. You know?
Yeah. And I think
I would like to, and I have a story, and it probably would end up being either a JRPG or more of an action RPG or something like that. But I want to make it. I want to. I have characters. I have a story. I have a novel.
You'd be surprised how many people currently and that are in the FFS Discord have some kind of background in either tabletop gaming or actual, you know, independent video games and all this kind of stuff. And so that's part of the reason why I do what I do, is because I ultimately want to bring artists together that actually are, you know, motivated by, you know, fundamentally good things. You know, not to say that you can't have titillation and this and that in games, or, you know, but, you know,
no, I don't want to go back to being Puritan.
No, and that's not what I'm. That's not at all.
I want to go back to 2003. 2005. The technology we have now, we could be living like fucking in some kind of incredible world of incredible creativity, a new renaissance.
Right.
And it just isn't allowed.
Right.
And that fucking pisses me off. Because I see the fantastic people in the chat on other channels in the chat too. And I talk to these people in Discord and on your Discord and my Discord and etc. etc. And on Twitter, and we're crying out. There is a future that we were robbed of.
Yeah. And we need to build it ourselves. That's the only way that we're getting out of this situation is to nobody else is coming to save us. No one else is coming to help us. So we have to learn how to help ourselves. You know, a lot of people can learn coding. Get yourself a Steam Deck. You'll have a gaming console that can play Steam games and also run Linux-based operating systems so that you can learn Blender. So you can, you know, learn GIMP. You can learn all these things that are free and actually just apply yourself and, you know, become more creative and actually speak out. You know, that's what freedom of speech is. This is how we fight this shit. You know,
absolutely. Yeah. And the chat knows too. And this is it. We talk all the time. This is the future that we want to see. We want a future of boundless creativity where people can make high quality shit. But what we have is an industry being held hostage by one group of nepotistic fucking globalists who globalists. Exactly. And shout out to Moxie Dame in the chat too. Hello, by the way. We haven't formally met, but big fan. So yeah,
as Ryan says, we have to be the change that we want to see. And so we have the talent, we have the skill, we have the ability.
Way too much, but I agree completely. Yeah.
And he's also in the chat right now as well. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. How you doing, buddy? Don't worry. No. Everything's fine. James up for $5 dues. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Says my art consists of making sick memes. Lol. Ryan Spear. I hate the fact that it doesn't put the pictures on StreamYard. There's so many things that they could improve about this platform. It sucks. But thank you, James. I appreciate you as always. And guys, make sure that you do support Gamergate2.org. He does good work there. There are probably loads of us who could be helping to contribute to that in one way or another. He's taken my logo for Gamergate2, and I appreciate that because it's fantastic.
You can access the website through the Discord as well, the FFS Discord.
Absolutely, And there you go. There's Rhoda posting a link to it in the chat as well. Absolutely fantastic. So there you go. We are within 10 minutes of Dragon Age the Veilguard finally launching, which means that Hypnotic is going to start Griftcast, which actually I had the exact same idea for a name for a show, actually. And I kind of feel like I should have started it 6 months ago.
I might have an issue going over there. For whatever reason, I went to watch Hypno last night, and I'm either being shadow banned by YouTube or someone has hidden my account. I was not. I was typing in. I tried 3 different browsers, and after like I was initially seen for like 2 seconds. Ark went and said hi to me, and he asked how I was doing. I said awesome as always. I didn't see it actually pop up on the side on the screen of, you know, and then I tried a different browser. So if anybody over there at Hypno is a mod that wants to do me a solid and like unhide my account or whatever fuckery is going on, if you can do something, that would be great. Otherwise, it's YouTube.
Pretty sure my mods are also mods for him as well, so that shouldn't be too hard to sort out. Speaking of mods, Eris Rhoda, loyal friend of the channel, has gifted 5 more memberships. You absolute retard. Appreciate you very much. Griff Force numbers are growing. More green for Princess of the Fans, as TJab Steve would say. Princess of the Fans now having teeth poking out of her gums and talking and babbling all day long. In fact, I don't even need an alarm clock anymore, and that's partially thanks to you fine people who made it possible for me to buy a slightly better standard of formula. So thanks. That's enough about me. We don't care about me. Well, maybe some people do, but I don't right now. I care about the games industry, the impending release of Dragon Age the Veilguard, and the fact that we need to get this show off the air so these fine people can piss off over to Hypnotic Live and watch that shit or wherever the hell he is streaming it. So John Boy, would you like to flog your wares?
Yeah. I'll keep it nice and light since we got stuff going on. I will be back tomorrow on Friday with Ryan on Reality Based at 4 p.m. let's see, Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And then if Leon hits gold, I'll be on his show. And then I'll be doing Honey Badger Arcade on Saturday, which brings us back to Sunday morning, where we actually get to have our cake of the week and do Doctor Who. And we are putting off we're putting off Jodie till the first of the year, which thank you so much for that. Much appreciation. But yeah, other than that, I just say safe travels ahead. Have a wonderful week going forward. And obviously be awesome as always. And thank you for, this insightful conversation we're able to have today.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been more horrifying than it had to be. But hey, it's happening.
But hey, you got to pull that Band-Aid off sometimes.
There you go. And I still can't work out how I'm supposed to wear a cowboy hat with this headset, but I can try. Anyway, there you go. And Yara Navas John, surrender your booty. So there we go. Oh my God, this is not
and the booty master, don't you know?
More like a sombrero. And then I'll just get done for copyright, Anyway, but right. Thank you guys for watching. It's appreciate you. Dragon Age is finally here. We can all get a good look at just how fucking awful it is, and no doubt videos galore will be coming out about this subject. I might even start recording tonight if I see something bad enough to actually talk about. But appreciate you coming along and checking out the stream.
So I'll head over to Griffcast and continue the conversation over there.
Yeah, I'll probably end up over there as well very soon after I take care of what I've got to take care of next. And yeah, that's about it. We will get out of your hair a little early tonight. And we'll see you probably in the chat watching Griftcast. Dragon Age Veilguard is finally here. We can all laugh at the pronouns, at the non-binary language, the 21st century bullshit. Appreciate you all.
Through the misery.
And if you don't have time for stuff like that, I've got a video coming out in around 15 minutes that you will probably want to watch.
The video from this morning, which seems to be booming. So
yeah, that one video went crazy. It's at like almost 13,000 views, and it's only been out for like 4 hours, which never happens.
And don't forget, 2024. It's trans or racist. Always choose racist.
Beautiful, much easier. Yep. Shout out to TJF, Steve, James Up, artooleetoo, James Up, Eris Rhoda as well for the kind contributions, and everybody in the chat for being really super cool and sexy as always. Not like that. I'm sure you're all human and above the 18. So we'll catch you next time. Nothing left to do but wave stupidly to the camera and say, fuck, we're all doomed. Bye.
We are. Goodbye, everybody.
Morality, and now we're facing me as mortality. They lost the plot, we'll take a stand. These corporations must perish when we claim our land. Enough is enough, we've drawn the line. We'll take back our stories, a spark divine. The will of the fans, a storm on the rise. We won't be